Hello, in this video I'll be reviewing the Sovol SV06 Plus Ace. I just finished setting it up. I was going to record the unboxing and the setup process, but I recorded in vertical mode and I don't like the way vertical YouTube videos look, so I decided not to use that footage. This setup is relatively easy. This is one part and this is one part. You basically just have to put them or slide this one into this part and then tighten the screws for everything. The only annoying part is trying to mount the PSU because you have to screw it in while holding it in place at the same time. But then after you screw everything in, you just have to plug in some stuff. So I'm gonna plug it in and set it up quickly. And then I will run the first test print. One more thing I forgot to mention is on the back for the power supply you can select either 115 volts or 230 volts. If you're an American, for 90% of American houses it's going to be 115 volts. 230 volts is normally for European houses. Let's see. So this is what it looks like setting it up. Hopefully the camera angle is not terrible. Let's see. For now I'm going to skip the Wi-Fi. I just want to make sure it works well. Self-check process is about to begin. Please place the machine flat on the table to avoid affecting the self-check results. So it's going to take approximately 15 minutes. Start that now. Okay, that's quite concerning. I don't know if the camera caught it, but basically this cord got caught up here and it caused this to crack a little bit. Once it's done doing its calibrations, I'll check it out. You can always just reprint that part to fix it, but I don't think it'll affect how the printer works.
1 hour later.
Alright, so all the calibrations and stuff finished. I turned the printer back off and I just busted off this cap just to check on it. And I mean, the corner's just bent a little bit. Obviously didn't damage any of the wires, so I'm not gonna worry about that for now. I can reprint that piece if I ever feel like it, or if I want to change my printer to be all black instead of black and blue. But that's most likely just because when I was setting up the printer I decided to move this wire because the print head was like up here and then got stuck up there. I don't think that will be a problem when I'm actually printing anything. It's more so just user error. So I'm gonna put this back on, turn the printer back on, and then I will load up something to test print and I will record that. Alright, so for my first 3D print I'm using Orca Slicer because that's what they recommend, and I'm just going to use the default SV06 Plus Ace 0.4 nozzle preset and then the 0.2 millimeter standard preset for the filament as well. I'm just going to upload a file, slice it with all the default settings, and then I'll go back downstairs and we'll see how well it prints. So I'm back at the printer and I'm still trying to set up the camera so that I can record the first print. But one thing I want to mention is the power supply unit fan is insanely loud, so definitely blowing lots of cold air. So it's one thing to keep in mind if you want to purchase one of these. Alright, so I finally have everything set up to print a benchy. click USB. There's indeed Banshee. The only thing left for me to do is to obviously load it with filament. So in the manual it says cut it at a 45-degree angle before loading it. So I'm gonna do that quickly. And to print, I'm going to be using this, which right here, it's PLA Plus Black. This is JO filament. It's my go-to brand. Pretty sure it's the same company as Sunlu. It's just their cheaper version of filament. It's probably lower quality, but it gets the job done every time, so I don't mind it, especially when it's $10 a kilogram. Let's see, can't really see it, but I cut it at an angle, hopefully close enough to 45 degrees. And for this machine, there is a spool holder up there, so I'm gonna hook it up here, and then right there is the filament sensor, which don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's sensing the filament, but it's not going through. There we go. So, get this started through juice. I was just talking about how much I like this filament, and then started despooling instantly. I swear it prints fine. So on the touch screen here, I'll just show you the process. You hit load filament. I like this a lot. It's pretty cool that everything is like, all the steps are written out. Calibration too. Yeah, I have a MK4, so I'm not used to fancy touch screens. It's like having a smartphone attached to your printer. So I'm just gonna put the tripod down quickly. So I'm gonna insert this filament into the silver hole right there, and once it's pushed in a little bit, just hit confirm. Supposedly loading filament, so I can't really see it, and you just heard the snap. So it did indeed extrude something, so I'm gonna click confirm. And before I do my first print, I'm gonna send this thing back to its home position. Oh, that's a little bit concerning. Then I'm gonna move it up on the Z-axis a bit. you can see, or you can barely see it, but filament, it just extruded. That's stuck to the print head. So I'm gonna do this the extremely professional way, and I'm just gonna cut it off. Try to. I'll just use my fingers, because who gives a shit? So as you can see, it's oh, sorry. As you can see, it's still leaking out filament. I assume the hot end is still pretty. Let's see. Hot end is still at 210 for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why it's not cooling down. So a little bit weird. I've only had experience using a MK4, so I can't say if this is a common thing or not, but on my MK4 it automatically starts cooling down to 0 after you change the filament. I don't know why it didn't do that with this machine, but it's down to 170 and there's no more filament leaking out of it. Alright, so I'm just gonna wipe off the print bed. Oops. And this table is extremely wobbly. It's a piece of junk that I built myself out of an old bed frame and some other stuff. So I'm gonna test one print on the table to see if this printer can handle the wobbles. If it cannot, I'll just slap it on the floor next to my MK4. Alright, so I just wiped down the plate with some 99% isopropyl alcohol that I keep in this spray bottle, and then I use paper towels to wipe it off. I'm pretty sure you can use a microfiber towel, but I have dogs, and every time I put them in the wash, the microfiber towels in the wash, they get covered in dog fur, so I prefer to just use paper towels. But now I'm gonna start the print. It's just a benchy, something basic, something quick. Alright, so this is starting. I also have the camera set up so it should record, although the quality is god awful. I don't know if it's because of the software that they recommend you use to watch the camera, or if it's because the camera is actually just a piece of crap. But I will do like a time lapse with that recording. Probably won't look too good, but you can at least see the print going. Let's see. And in this review, I just want to mention that I only have experience using a MK4, a Prusa MK4. I've had it for like a year and 4 months now. I've never tried any other printer brands, never used the Ender 3. The MK4 was my first printer and the only printer I've used. I don't know anyone in real life that also has a 3D printer that I can compare this Sovol to, so this whole review is kind of just comparing an MK4 to a Sovol SV06 Plus Ace. But you know, I've seen a few reviews and people talk about it being like a cheaper version of a Prusa. And look at the fan right here. This does remind me of the MK4S fan setup with the all-around cooling. I'll show you guys quickly my regular Peon MK4, no input shaper on it. So yep, this is our original MK4. Ignore all the scraps on the side. But as you can see, there's this piece of crap cooling fan that doesn't work too well. But this thing's a workhorse. It gets the job done every single time, which is why I bought it. I got the Sovol because I wanted a bigger print bed, and also I wanted something that could print PLA quicker than the MK4. While it is reliable, it's kind of a slow printer compared to other things on the market now. So that's why I got the Sovol, in hopes that I can print PLA a lot faster, and then I'll just use the MK4 to print higher quality materials, just because I have the enclosure for it, whereas the Sovol, I do not have an enclosure big enough for that thing, although I plan on building one soon. If you're wondering what I want to use these for, or what I want to use the PLA for, I enjoy making random art projects out of PLA. This is the only one that's actually been painted and everything. There's a little bit of imperfections here. That's because I printed with no brim like an idiot, and the edges started peeling up. This one is a Hello Kitty face. This one is a ditto. They both have been painted with one layer of wood filler. I have to sand it down, paint it again, and then do some more stuff before actually painting them. And I plan on recording a video showing you how to do that in the future, but that's for another time. Anyways, back to the Sovol. Oh, that's interesting. So I don't know if the machine considers this the front or the back, but it does the nozzle cleaning and stuff on this side of the print bed instead of here, which is what I would consider to be the front. But anyways, I'm gonna stop recording, and I will put in a time lapse of the Benchy from the camera module, and hopefully it turns out decently. Alright, so as you can see, the print did fail, but I would say it's because I did not put a brim on there. But as far as the actual print, like, this is pretty goddamn good. Obviously there's a little bit of oh, you can barely see it. Let me put it in the light. Hopefully that doesn't blind you. It's blinding me. Let me tilt the light down. As far as print quality, it's not terrible. This textured plate, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of it. It's a little bit too textured for me. But like, the actual side of it is not bad. There's one rough spot, like here. I'm trying to focus on it. It's not going too well. I will get better at recording eventually. There's like a little bit of banding here. Not too bad though. I'm gonna go back upstairs and add a brim to the STL or the G code file. And if you, Jesus, okay, come on camera. Come on camera. There we go. So if you see the supports, they're not the cleanest. And there, now I can actually show you guys. It's like right here. It's not the prettiest either. The bottom looks pretty good, I would say. Can't really make out the letters, but printed them out with no issue. So I'm gonna put a brim on this G-code file, and then I'm gonna try printing it, or putting the printer on the floor, because it was definitely vibrating a lot, and I feel like that was also causing some issues. So I'm gonna change those two things and start recording again. Once I do that, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back for round 2 on the benchies. I changed a few settings, so I added an outer brim for the bottom of the benchy, and then I forgot to change the filament settings on the first print because I normally use Prusa slicer. So I upped the temperature on the build plate to hopefully help adhesion, and then I tweaked the actual filament temperature, or the nozzle temperature, a little bit. Just turned it down a few degrees to see if that changes anything. We are now ready for the second print, and hopefully this one sticks. I also put this on the floor, which I'm pretty sure I mentioned all those things earlier. So go back to this, CL plus, hit print, and we're off to the races again. I recorded the first print from the Obico thing. The camera quality is terrible, and it looks like it's some 1990s camera or something. So I decided that I'm just gonna record on my phone these few prints, and I have extra, what is it, an extra camera that you can plug into like a computer, and a Raspberry Pi laying around. So I'm gonna try and set up my own thing, because at least the camera quality is decent on that webcam. So in the future I will be able to record with that, but for now I'm just gonna record on my phone, and I'll see you when this print gets done. Alright, so the Benchy has finished printing. Just going to snap this off real quick. And move the lights. Alright, so I'll try and focus this. This is what it looks like. Here, let me turn on the flash. You can definitely see the letters quite clearly. As far as the quality goes, I would say it looks really good. The only issue is like the surface on the sides is not smooth at all. So definitely some fine tuning needs to be done. But I would say it looks pretty solid. Definitely see some issues. These holes printed well, I would say. This is honestly not very readable on the back. And the hole looks pretty good. But yeah, I would say this is good quality. You know, if you printed it slower, maybe it would have a better finish on the outside. Or if you do some fine tuning, which I plan on doing, then this is a solid print, especially for being out of the box. You know, I didn't do anything to the printer. I didn't fine tune any settings in the slicer. I just put a brim on and turned up the print bed temperature. That's the only changes I made. Otherwise, this is how it prints out of the box, which is not bad considering this printer costed me $300, or before taxes and shipping, $300. Alright, so I just want to give my final thoughts on this printer. I would say for the price, it's definitely worth it. It comes with a lot of the features that, you know, the more expensive printers have, like auto bed leveling and Wi-Fi connection and a camera module. The only thing that I really don't like about it is you kind of have to keep it on the floor, or you have to have a very heavy duty table to put it on because of the vibrations. And I mean, even me putting it on the concrete floor, I had to turn down the print speed because there's too much vibrations, which was causing some issues with the prints, mainly ringing or ghosting, whatever you want to call it. So even though it advertises 500 millimeters a second print speed, you really can't do 500 without sacrificing print quality. But for $350 full price, or $300 is their current sale, I would say it's definitely worth the money. After doing a little bit of tuning, I printed like 3 benchies. They started to look a little bit better. The main issue is stringing, but that's because I don't have retraction turned on. And then finally I did an actual 3D print, which I would say it looks pretty good. Comes to the surface, the finish is solid. The only issue is the supports are stuck on pretty well to the bottom. That's because I printed organic supports when I should not have. So overall, I would recommend the Sovol SV06 Ace Plus. It's a very solid machine. It's a big bed slinger, which is helpful if you want to print larger objects. And if you have any other questions that I didn't, talk about or answer in this video, feel free to comment them. And that's all. Have a great day.